The ideas, opinions, and beliefs of the radical masculine are for entertainment purposes only.
My name is Chris Finesse, and welcome to the Radical Masculine. Now, if you came here for an attractive woman who's a feminist, who is stubborn, hard-headed, and is a feminist, well, you came to the right place. Like, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy the show.
Why are men so intimidated by the idea of coming home to a independent woman?
We're not intimidated. It's
I
a
would
headache.
think that an independent woman, like independence, is an attractive quality.
No.
How would you define independence?
I mean, in simple terms, a woman who doesn't need a man but wants a man and wants to be also. I mean, I can provide in my own ways, and the man will provide in his own ways. However that dynamic works, it'll work.
Okay, so
Wow, that sounds terrible. You don't need me. You only want me.
so
Trust
like,
me, yo.
what do you mean by like? I'm trying to understand what do you mean by not.
I mean, I'm not a child. I don't need a parent. You know, I want to be in a partnership. I want somebody who will, if I'm younger than him, for example, I want him to strive to raise me to his level. Just like I feel like a top tier men are drawn to people who they want to be their peers eventually. They like lifting people up, and I think that in a relationship it should be the same.
There's certain things that you value that men wouldn't value. So, for example, if you let's say you made $200,000 a year, right, and your man made $50,000 a year, you would eventually want him to get there. Is that fair to say, ladies?
Absolutely.
And if he was lazy and he didn't want to get there, he wanted to stay at 50,000, would that be a turnoff? If he didn't want to get better?
Yeah.
The point is that you guys want a man to get on your level. So guys, if a woman was making $50,000 and you're making 200,000, do you want her to make 200,000? Is that a priority for you guys?
No.
Not a priority.
So you see, guys, they don't view it that way.
Mhm.
They like you gotta think about it. Men are conditioned to protect and provide from thousands of years. So men are not looking for a teammate who can do what they do. You know, like it's like the best way I can break it
But
down
it's
is
not about doing. Sorry for interrupting.
Look at her interrupting. This is a woman disagreeing, telling men what they should want when the guys are saying no.
I
yeah.
apologize.
Because on the one hand, they apologize, but they're acting like they're not sorry at all.
But it's not about doing what they do. It's about doing me and being supported and
So here's
supported emotionally and
here's a problem. A man with options can choose. And unfortunately, you're the worst option. No disrespect. No disrespect. Because here's the reality. There's two guys, right?
Mhm.
There's a guy that makes 500,000. All things are equal. They're both handsome. They're both tall. They're both successful in their own sense, right? One is a successful teacher making 50,000. One is a successful doctor making 500,000. Which one is more attractive?
Here comes the lies.
Feminism in her won't allow it.
No. I'll answer honestly.
She's
I want an
choking.
equal partner.
I'm just as mesmerized by fancy, shiny things as any other person is. I find that sometimes men who have a lot
No.
become entitled.
Listen.
No.
I just said
Equal.
everything was equal.
Okay, then yeah, for sure the man who has more because my life would be better.
Because you value that more. So what you got to understand is women who think independence, you like that in men.
Yeah.
A man being independent, a man not needing you, a man to be able to take care of his stuff on his own. That's what you value in men. Men don't want that in women. Because the reality of the matter is when a woman is really turned on by a man, when a woman is really in love with a man, when she really respects him, she becomes utterly dependent upon him because she does not want him to leave.
So here's what I don't like. My biggest fear is to lose my independence and to rely on somebody else.
And know where that
Feminist.
where does that come from?
Ooh.
I don't know. I mean,
Actually, a lot of this comes from having a high body count, from being a bad girlfriend. A lot of these girls in relationships, they kind of do their men dirty, they play a lot of games, and they don't like the guy as much as he likes them, so they fear falling in love with the guy who does what they have done to many guys. Women are huge projectors. I'm telling you.
I mean, I've been independent since I was 18,
You're an adult. Congratulations.
and I think it's a very important thing to me.
I know, but where does that fear come from? Because you're talking about I have a fear. You can't live your life according to fear. Imagine me saying I have a fear of crashing on a plane. I can never get on the plane.
Damn.
So your whole relationship movement is based upon a fear. That's unhealthy. And so what I've noticed is a lot of women, when they move in a relationship, it's based out of fear. You can't live your life based upon fear.
I think it's unhealthy to put yourself in situations where you could potentially be left with nothing.
But that's the mindset.
That's the fear.
You see how you're living your life? You're living your life worst case scenario thinking.
Yep.
Imagine.
Now, he's making a great point, and I know she has to comprehend and get this example, but I'm willing to bet she attempts to muddy the waters, change the subject, deflect, and still push through with her movement of whatever's going on in her head.
Me saying, I don't want to start a business because if I open a business, I can lose all my money, because that's a risk of starting a business. You can put all your time, energy, effort, and money and research into a business and lose it all. So what happens is a lot of women have seen either from divorces in their family, either from their mom whining, complaining, or they've seen a woman being in an unhealthy
She's not really even paying attention. She's looking to respond.
situation, and now their fear is the worst case possible
So
scenario.
here's another worst case possible scenario.
But but you do not see how living like that is a problem.
I do understand. I completely agree, but I do think that there's a place for responsibility. And women in relationships, because there is a power dynamic, oftentimes can be put in situations where they can't get out.
So here's a problem. You said oftentimes. That is your personal experience.
It's not my personal experience. All of my relationships have ended amicably, and I respect all of my exes. I've never been abused, thank God.
So why in the fuck is this your example then?
I've never had any like negative situation like that where I relied on someone. Never.
So let me tell you why this is your personal experience. Because when it comes to divorce, if you can look it up right now, we have all the data. Women divorce men at higher rates than men divorce women. 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women. We have Google right now. We can go ahead and pull it up.
And if they are college educated 90% of the time, you pull your dick out and act like a man. Well, no, you can't do that. I'm telling you, all the data's out there, boys.
So the reality of women being left by men is a misnomer. It is feminine mythology.
I'm not talking about. My concern is not being left by a man. My concern is jumping head on into a relationship where I'm feeling like I'm being supported and helped, eventually losing my independence because I'm relying on him. I don't need to work if somebody's paying my rent.
She wants a sponsor, a guy to sponsor her on all of her dreams and bring her up.
So I'm explaining. Wait, I lost my train of thought. What did you say a second ago?
What I said is that
women are not leaving men.
This is how you know that she is listening to respond, not listening to understand.
Fear. You literally said the fear.
Oh, okay. I remember what I was talking about. Okay, my fear isn't that I won't be able to. My fear isn't that my man will leave me. My fear is that I won't be able to leave because I'll be put in a situation where I can't leave.
Okay, so that fear is based upon a worst case scenario. You're living your life on a worst case scenario. If you take that energy into business, you'll never be successful.
But
if you tell me,
relationships,
let me finish.
Please stop interrupting me.
If you take that energy into finances, you'll never have any money. If you take that energy into friendship, you'll never have any friends. Mm-hmm. So what happens is that if you're living your life based upon a scenario that a fearful thing can happen, that's on you. But the wise thing to be is to be like, okay, that's a possibility. So how can I, as a woman, find the right kind of man who will support me and help me not make that happen? There's no way possible you're going to find a guy where 100% of the time he will never do anything wrong. So life is a risk.
Please stop interrupting me.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much.
That's an interruption.
Number one, I do think that being a woman in the world, you do have to live not in fear. Maybe fear is the wrong word to use, but you do have to be very, very conscious and cautious of all the dangers around you. And relationships can turn dangerous at a certain point. That's number one. I'm not saying I'm living out of fear, not at all. Every relationship that I've been in.
What does that mean, though? You just said relationships can turn dangerous at a certain point. What do you mean by dangerous? You mean domestic violence?
Also.
Okay, so let's talk about domestic violence. You know what's fascinating? Mm-hmm. Do you know domestic violence in lesbian couples are the highest of all couples?
They have more domestic violence. So where does that tell you the root of domestic violence stems from? It's the bitches.
Relying 100% where you're codependent is unhealthy, in my opinion.
But the healthy medium is interdependency, is that I could exist without you, but I not only want you, but I need you.
So can I say...
Can you shut the fuck up?
Let me finish. Because I'm being honest with you, right now, the energy that you're on is masculine energy. You want to be in charge.
Another woman that wants to lead from the bottom.
Lift me up, help me. But at the same time, I'm not going to relinquish all of my power.
She wants someone to foot the bill while she remains with all of her freedom, no responsibility.
I understand it, but what I'm saying is that what you're communicating is an idea which you feel like you represent. But I'm telling you right now, from even communicating with you, from this conversation, talk to hundreds of women, the energy that you have is very masculine energy.
Oh my God.
You can say all that you want, but the idea is you want somebody to join your team. You want somebody to join your program. You want someone to follow and support you.
I want to join someone's team.
Please stop interrupting me.
That's not how. But that's not how it works. That's not how it works. When two companies merge, one company joins one company. When two kingdoms merge, one king joins one kingdom.
And that's fine. But I'm not going to put my personal well-being in jeopardy.
But which
is healthy. I think it's healthy. Why is it an extreme to care about yourself?
No, you're making an extreme argument. You're saying that I'm putting my personal well-being in jeopardy. You're not. A lot of women who are in happy, healthy relationships, they're not putting their personal well-being in jeopardy by being with a masculine man and submitting to them happily. They're actually putting their personal well-being at the forefront of their life, and they're benefiting from it, from that masculine man's lead. But in your situation, let me tell you what's going to happen. Unfortunately, you're going to have to find a feminine man who's going to have to follow you, who's going to have to be led by. And you know what happens? Of course you don't want that, because no women does. But the number one problem is, though you don't want that, the man that you want won't want you. And
I'll be honest, I've never had any of these issues in any relationship in my life.
Okay, then why are you so single right now?
What? Well, I didn't say I'm single.
Here comes the lies.
Okay, so you're not single.
I mean, I'm seeing a person in my life.
So you're single.
I really don't want to share personal details of my life, but I am in a very good place right now.
Let me be honest with you. You're doing what women try unfortunately do when they're in a social setting. You're
generalizing, but go ahead.
Well, this is just commonality between men and women. What you're doing is you're using the English language to shape reality instead of to express reality. You see that you don't want people to look down upon you for being single. I'm not shaming you for being single. So therefore,
first of all,
can you shut the fuck up?
Let me finish. So therefore, you're trying to share, well, I'm not single. I may be single. You're single. So moving forward in this conversation, use English to express reality. And the reality of the matter is, yes, you are single.
Many guys will have a great time with her in the bed, but this fucking mouth, this fucking interrupting, I'll tell you what, this girl would be a fucking headache.
Go ahead.
I keep losing my train of thought. You're confused because you're talking at me and then you keep.
Because you're fucking stupid.
What are 3 things that you're working on today that's going to make you desirable to the high value man that you want? What are those 3 things that you're working on today?
Social circles. I think that networking is very important.
Okay.
Another thing is I hope that I will be able to be successful in my life. And I mean, it's pretty shallow, but also I think that looks are important, and I take care of myself.
Cool. So out of those 3 things that you mentioned, you said social circle, success, and looks. The only thing that really relevant to a high value man is going to be the looks. So the unfortunate reality is that a lot of women such as yourself, they say, I'm working on myself to be more desirable to a man. But the things that you're working on, a man does not want. Imagine a man saying, okay, I'm working on myself to be more desirable to women. And you know what I'm doing? I'm learning how to wear fluorescent dresses. Is he doing something that'll make him more desirable to women?
There's probably a woman out there.
Yeah, it's easy to make that argument. Let's be realistic. Is he doing something that's making him more desirable to top tier women?
Probably not.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm not disagreeing with you on most of your points.
I know, of course not. I know. So
I just want to make that a point. Like
we understand. We understand. Don't worry.
How can she not disagree with most of his points while simultaneously disagreeing with all of his points?
Women.
Okay, so that is going to conclude our reaction for the day. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time.
One, booster ignition.